Hey everyone, welcome to the first part of our study of the Ascension of Christ in Acts chapter 6, verses 6 through 11. Eschatology is a study with a lot of subdivisions. It can get quite confusing if you don't start at the right place. And by that I mean start with the basics. I think the best place to start is with the narrative of the Ascension of Christ in the first chapter of Acts, because this passage is short, straightforward, easy to understand, and so it's a great place to begin our journey. The passage sets the stage for the entire book of Acts by focusing the attention of the disciples on their primary task, which is to be witnesses for Christ to the world. It's always easier to sit around and discuss theology than it is to get out there and work for the Lord, isn't it? It also promises that they will have power from the Holy Spirit to carry out that mission, so they won't have to depend solely on themselves. This passage is critical for the study of eschatology because it clearly promises that just as Christ ascends into the clouds, in the same way he will return. Meanwhile, between now and then, we have a job to do. So let's take a look and see if we can dig into this. We'll begin by looking at the whole passage. First, we have the question of the kingdom. So when they had come together, they asked him, "Lord, will you at this time restore the kingdom of Israel?" Verse 6. Then we have the redirect. At least that's what I call it. Jesus often uses this technique to move people's attention away from where their head is now to where he wants it to be. Like when he was talking with the woman at the well, she tried to divert the conversation from her shady lifestyle and get him into a theological argument about whether the Jews or the Samaritans are right about this place of worship or that place of worship. You gotta love Jesus' response. "A time is coming when neither in Jerusalem nor on this mountain, but my worshipers will worship in spirit and in truth." Well, Jesus is kind of doing the same thing here. He said to them, "It is not for you to know the times or the seasons that the Father has fixed by his authority, but you will receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem, in all Judea and Samaria, and to the end of the earth." Then we have Christ's departure in verse 9. "And when he had said these things, as they were looking on, he was lifted up, and a cloud took him out of their sight." And then we have the promised return. "And while they were gazing into heaven, as he went, behold, two men stood by them in white robes and said, 'Men of Galilee, why do you stand looking into heaven? This Jesus, who was taken up from you into heaven, will come in the same way as you saw him go into heaven.'